My name is Louis Anderson. I was a park manager at the time of Shawshank and also worked security detail during the time that they were filming here at Malabar Farm.
I'm Sybil Bursky. I was one of the tour guides at Malabar Farm during the time they shot Shawshank here at the farm.
During the filming, there was two sandstone light posts there at the entrance to the Pew cabin for the opening scene. And one of the trucks that was backing in there hit that sandstone pillar, totally demolished that and broke the glass and wrought iron lamp that was on top of there. They wanted to get it repaired, so they went to a lot of the Mansfield city employees at the time, and they found one of the actual light fixtures that's identical to what we have in one of the city employees' garage, and they used that for the top part to replace. And then they had a stonemason come in and totally restore that whole pillar that was destroyed. And today you really can't tell the difference other than the light fixture looks a little bit newer than the other one. But that Pew cabin, all those light fixtures there were all salvaged from Mansfield City when they changed their lights. And all the chandeliers and all the furnishings in there are all scavenged from different places in Mansfield, from future banks and things of that nature. What was really interesting that evening too is that was a closed set. My understanding is there was a nude scene as part of that opening scene that was never used. So all the windows were blacked out, and as part of security we were to keep people out of that roadway in that evening, and we had to wait till it was completely dark. The other thing I thought was really interesting, their safety person came up to me and they had all these safety things that they had to make everybody aware of, and one of them was poison ivy and copperhead snakes. They were concerned that where was poison ivy and where were these copperhead snakes. So I showed them what poison ivy looked at and said, don't worry about copperhead snakes, they're not going to be in this area or anything like that. One of the other scenes where Timothy Robbins is in the vehicle loading the gun and everything, there was probably 6 or 8 times where Timothy got into the car and he couldn't get the car door open because the scene was he's supposed to open the door and walk towards the cabin. He wasn't able to get the door opened on several occasions. He got very angry, very upset. Eventually they taped the door shut, the hinge, so that it would go closed, but it wouldn't latch anymore, so he could easily get out of the car and approach the cabin.
On my day off, I was up in a little grocery store, or not grocery store, a little bookstore beside a grocery store up in what we call the Johnny Appleseed Shopping Center. And as I'm looking at books, a lady came running in the store yelling, "Susan Sarandon's in the produce section at Neff's," which was the grocery store next door. And she continued to run down the sidewalk and open every door to every shop and yell that out. Poor Susan Sarandon. I didn't actually go over there. I did walk by, but I didn't go in. But I saw her on many occasions driving around. They rented a station wagon, and her kids and Tim Robbins, you could see them. Sometimes you'd stop at a stop sign and there they'd be. Several of the cast members rented homes in this area during the time they shot the film here. Another few things that happened around the same time, being a tour guide here at Malabar Farm, I was able to take James Whitmore, the man who plays Brooks in the film, on a tour by myself. It was very interesting. He had grown up on a farm, and he knew somewhat about Louis Bromfield because of his father reading Bromfield's books. He was very cordial. At one point he did correct my English, but other than that, he sat down on one of the seats that you're not supposed to sit on in the house, but I didn't say anything. I also got to meet Clancy Brown, the man who plays the mean guard in the film. He came through Malabar. We have signatures on our guest book with, I think they came about a day apart, so that was very interesting. He's very tall. That was a really neat thing too. Morgan Freeman, very nice man. I didn't get to meet him personally, but One of my daughter's grandfathers had a horse farm in the area, or has a horse farm, and Morgan Freeman's wife actually shipped his riding horse here to the area to stay at that farm, and my daughter was invited over to ride horses, and we have a picture of Morgan Freeman riding his horse with his cowboy hat, cowboy boots, and his daughter, and my daughter got to ride behind his daughters, which was kind of a thrill for her to meet Morgan Freeman's daughter. Malabar Farm
Malabar Farm remembers Shawshank Redemption.